Down.
At 4, it's Hogan.
Have ways to make you talk.
Sir, you've been seeing too many war movies.
Silence! I thought you set the timer.
And at 4:30, it's Archie and his family.
I didn't know Lincoln was Jewish.
It's a well-known fact. Men are worth more than women.
Happy Days again. Gomer Pyle, Hogan's Heroes, all in the family. The laugh start at 3 o'clock on TV 10. WALA TV 10 Mobile.
The news now. Sights and sounds of today, reported by Randall Smith with sports, John Ed Thompson with weather, and Glenn Robinson with the news now.
Good evening. Tonight, Wilmer Patrolman Dale Redmond is safe and sound. The 26-year-old policeman was the subject of a nationwide search after he called in yesterday morning and said he was heading into work but failed to show up. The search ended about 3 o'clock this morning when he was found sitting on the side of a road near Vidalia, Louisiana. One police official told the News Redmond said he drove off because he had a lot on his mind. But Wilmer's mayor refused to comment on the reason for Redmond's disappearance or to say if any disciplinary action will be taken against the patrolman. An entire wing of Pensacola's University Hospital is closed tonight following a fire at that medical facility. The fire began around 11 o'clock this morning and there were no injuries. More from our Pensacola Bureau Chief, Ed Heiland.
County volunteer firefighters had the worst kind of fire to battle when they arrived at University Hospital. Smoke pouring from ductwork in a 20-year-old building and no obvious source. Because of the uncertainty, it was decided not to take any chances.
He said all the other patients have been made ready to go. I've had orders written by the doctors. Those that can be discharged are, we'll have orders to be discharged. The fire department said we will not have to evacuate, that they've contained it here and that we'll be able to clear out the area. But everybody's on standby.
Patients from B Wing, which houses primarily psychiatric cases, were quietly evacuated to waiting buses, while 2 companies of volunteers stood by in case of a flare-up. Investigators, however, soon found that a cigarette dropped into an air conditioning vent was the culprit, igniting insulation covering interior pipes. No estimate of damages has been made. The remainder of University Hospital's operation is unaffected. Hospital officials say even though damage is not extensive to B Wing, they will be moving patients to Baptist Hospital until repairs can be made. Ed Heiland, News 10, Pensacola.
Just before President Reagan's fireside radio address on the arms race today, the Soviet news agency TASS announced President Leonid Brezhnev's rejection of Reagan's call for arms talks. Reagan's proposal calls for talks this June at the United Nations, but Brezhnev suggested a nuclear arms summit in a neutral European country in October. White House says it will study that proposal. 10,000 protesters gathered at the Seattle Center this afternoon to demonstrate against the nuclear arms race. Protesters sang anti-nuke songs and listened to local speakers as part of the demonstration labeled a call for armistice. And today, Secretary of State Alexander Haig abruptly postponed his departure from Buenos Aires for another round of talks with Argentine leaders. Talks on a peace plan to defuse the Falkland Islands crisis had reportedly bogged down over the question of sovereignty. U.S. officials refused to say whether Haig will go on to London or return to Washington after his meetings are complete. We continue our series on Vietnam veterans, and Michelle Meredith reports on the problems an upcoming fair is causing for some Mobile residents. These stories and more when the news returns.
To introduce a remarkable opportunity for readers who like to relax with a love story. And if that sounds like you, we'd like you to have the perfect gift: 4 Sapphire Romances. Novels so intimate and compelling that your reverie will deepen with every page you turn. Sapphire Romances are unique. They aren't sold in stores and are available directly to readers alone. This way, we can offer Sapphire readers a stunning array of authors and titles that is truly extraordinary. A little love goes a long way, and when you claim yours, you'll see what we mean. These endearing volumes will spirit you away to the lands of lovers' dreams, From glittering Paris to the sun-drenched Caribbean, each volume is like a window on another world. You'll share the passion of women compelled by desire and of enigmatic men whose eyes glow with a mysterious inner light. This is romance taken to the edge of ecstasy. You'll be touched as you've never been touched before. Call now, toll-free, to receive your 4 free books. We think you'll enjoy them so much you'll want to read more. So once a month, we'll send you 5 new novels to examine on a free trial basis, plus a 6th novel to have as a free gift if you decide to keep the 5 for only $1.75 each. We pay all shipping and handling, and there's no obligation to buy even one single book. You can cancel this arrangement whenever you choose, but we think you'll choose Sapphire. And with this no-risk offer, you're not even taking a chance on love to find out. Call now for your gift toll-free.
Call 1-800-453-3220. All 4 books are free with the opportunity to examine future volumes free of charge. There is no purchase obligation. Call 1-800-453-3220. That's 1-800-453-3220.
Most people like the idea of a fair coming to town, but next week a youth fair will open right behind Springdale Mall, and many residents in that neighborhood are upset about it. They say the fair will bring about a number of problems. The story from Meredith.
It's being billed as one of the biggest fairs ever, rides never before seen, a circus, and it's all going to happen here on this cleared-off plot behind Springdale Mall. But unlike other fairs where everything is set up very far away from houses, this fair is set up virtually right across the street from them. And that has people like Andre and Laurie Proverst worried. They're worried what kind of traffic, riffraff, and plain old garbage the fair will attract and float across to their side of the street. Another concern, flyers advertising for the 9-day fair say for 2 nights, a Midnight Madness special will keep it open till 3 in the morning. Residents say a noise ordinance should force the fair to shut down at 10 o'clock.
Many of the neighbors are very upset about this fair, and I feel a little bit the way Mr. Mims expressed his views on Thursday when we saw him. He couldn't believe that this fair was going on until 3 in the morning. He says nothing is open till 3 in the morning in Mobile.
The financial backer of the fair is County Commissioner Dan Wiley. Wiley says there will be no noise problem. All rides will be set up on the interstate side of the plot. He also says the noise ordinance does not apply to his fair.
We do intend to shut the ticket booths down at 10 o'clock every night but 2 nights. But I think that's overreacting and saying hypothetically, I'm against everything and this is going to happen. I think that's overreacting, and that is not the way the ordinance is written. It's strictly a noise ordinance, and it pertains strictly to public streets.
So the show will go on starting April 23rd. Wiley says since he plans to bring the fair back next year, he fully intends to be a good neighbor. Meredith, News 10.
Vietnam veterans, for many of them, the war is still raging in their minds, and they are still fighting emotional problems they developed during and after fighting in the combat zones. Tonight we continue our special series on the haunted heroes.
I don't know what triggers it. I get those feelings sometimes where I want to go out and kill something.
As the war machine keeps turning.
Vets who bear the worst emotional scars are those who saw the terrors of war after 1968, when songs of protest exploded in the streets. And as support at home went down, up went casualties, a sense of futility, and even drug abuse among the troops.
And they were survival drugs. They weren't party drugs. I mean, speed and things of that nature weren't used to party on. We were staying alive.
When you got hit hard and people were flying apart in front of you, if you had some marijuana, something to calm your nerve, yeah, well, there goes the next one.
For some, the drug legacy carried from Vietnam is a passport to prison. Other vets here claim they just were never deprogrammed from destroying people.
The violent act that I'm here for was not a decision at the time of the instant crime where I decided to be violent. It was a conditioned reaction.
That reaction was learned in 1 year in combat, if you believe Ed Jackson. and he has been sentenced to 10 years of paying for it, haunted by his legacy of Vietnam.
I mean, why should I went to Vietnam and got blown up, lost my wife, my kids, family, my energy towards maintaining a profession for the rest of my life, when I could have went to Canada and smoked dope, and in a few years the president would have let me come home. And what kind of justice is that?
This is Kathy Mann reporting.
Ned says it's going to be a nice Sunday along the Gulf Coast, and we'll take you to Baldwin County when the news continues.
Years ago, people actually enjoyed driving to work. Not today. That's why there's a tough oil made for tough traffic. Gulf Pride with ZDP, one of the toughest ingredients to fight engine wear. So change to Gulf Pride. It can't make your drive any more pleasant, but it can keep it from being a whole lot worse. Gulf Pride, the tough oil. Make sure that Gulf is with you.
Soybean growers, in your annual battle against broadleaf weeds, Lexon DF Weed Killer gives you an early victory. Lexon DF stops pigweed early, tea-weed early, sickle pod early, hemp sesbania early, and 27 other tough broadleaf weeds to get your young beans off to a fast, healthy start. Lexon DF for an early victory over broadleaf weeds in soybeans, only from DuPont.
Sometimes a simple river crossing isn't so simple. And when you've got him back, it's your turn. Push. Head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream, for a taste as smooth as its name. Push. Head for the bush beer. Head for the mountains.
The first 11 minutes of The Amateur will shock you.
It's about the terrorists. He wants them killed. I want to kill them myself.
I don't want him going over that border. If he's already across, I don't want him coming out.
The last 11 minutes will rivet you to your seat. John Savage is The Amateur, rated R.
Starts Friday, April 23rd.
John Ed decided to take the day off, and Ned's in
here. You know where John Ed was today? He was out sailing.
I don't blame him a bit.
He was out sailing on Dolphin Island race, and Randall's got all the details of that race coming up in a few minutes. But he picked kind of a crummy day for it, so he'll probably regret it. We got some nice weather to talk about.
Better tomorrow.
Yeah, 72 right now in Mobile and 71 over in Pensacola. Humidity 82 to 93%. The barometer is rising at 30-10. Winds out of the north at 6 miles an hour. And southwest at 6, indicating that a cold front is moving through the Mobile area right now. Skies are beginning to clear in Mobile. Hasn't moved through Pensacola. They've still got some showers lingering over there, and southwesterly winds. Rainfall today is on the light side, 3/100ths of an inch. So we had a gloomy day today. Let's get it out of our minds and look to the future. Like Sunday is going to be gorgeous. We got plenty of sunshine through most of the nation to the west of us. The cold front that provided much of the eastern United States with some severe weather and clouds and rain today has moved through our area now, and it's moving into southeastern Alabama, continues up through Georgia, into a low pressure area over the Great Lakes. That low is still causing some snow over upper Michigan and Wisconsin, by the way, so winter is not over yet, folks. This cold front is providing showers and thunderstorms. Heaviest activity tonight over Georgia and the Carolinas. We've been pretty lucky today. Through most of the day, most of the heavy thunderstorms and thunder showers were well north of the coastline, well up into the Tennessee Valley. They did have a tornado that touched down near Ardmore, and that, if you're familiar driving from Mobile all the way up into Tennessee and Kentucky, Ardmore is right on the Tennessee-Alabama border up in North Alabama, but just some minor damage and no reports of injuries. That cold front going to push through tonight. It's already through the Mobile area, moving into northwest Florida, and it's going to clear out starting tomorrow. We're going to have plenty of sunshine and some drier and mild air in here with readings around 75 to 78 tomorrow. TV10 color radar. We're still seeing a few showers still, primarily all over in northwest Florida. We've got some showers right now in the Pensacola area, Pensacola Bay area. Very light rain, and light rain from Fort Walton Beach and Destin all the way up into past the Crestview, Niceville area and Shalimar on up toward Dothan. Those showers will be dissipating as they move off into the Gulf of Mexico in the next couple of hours. 80 the high today, last night's low 72. Plenty of sunshine for tomorrow, and temperatures not nearly as warm and muggy as they've been for the past couple of days. 74 right now, Fort Walton Beach, 71 Pensacola, 72 Mobile, 78 Biloxi, and 72 degrees in New Orleans. Here are the tides for the next 24 hours. Low tide at 6:18 tomorrow morning, and the high tide was this evening at 5 minutes before 6. The marine forecast, wind shifting tonight out of the north at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. Scattered thunder showers will be the case tonight and early tomorrow, but they'll be tapering off and becoming mostly fair by tomorrow midday. Partly cloudy and cooler tonight with a low of 62. Tomorrow's high 78 degrees with plenty of sunshine, and low tomorrow night 60 with partly cloudy skies, and the extended outlook couldn't be better, of course, just in time for the beginning of the week. Fair skies Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, readings in the upper 70s to low 80s, just like they should be.
Oh, that's nice. And you'll be back on Monday.
Right.
Yeah. Most of us do our shopping these days at modern supermarkets. General stores used to serve that function years ago, but there's still a few general stores left where you can pick up anything from milk to shoelaces. In fact, one general store in Baldwin County celebrated to its big birthday party today, and most of the town in Silver Hill turned out for it, as John Robb reports.
It's not every day a general store reaches the ripe age of 80, so why not celebrate by listening to some down-home music, popping some corn, munching some hot dogs, and wagging a few tails. It was a touching meeting of the old and young. The kids don't play checkers the way their grandpas did. Why settle for checkers when there are video games to master like Berserk? For the adults, it was a day for reminiscing about earlier days, a slower pace, an easier lifestyle. Les Chandler remembers. In fact, he ran the People's Supply Company for 45 years.
And I sold pure lard as cheap as 5 cents a pound. And I sold salt pork as cheap as a nickel a pound.
How much did a Coca-Cola cost?
5 cents.
But back then, getting dry goods into Baldwin County was easier said than done.
Well, I'll tell you, that it had to come through Marlow, automobile by boat. That's how that come.
And then in the 1920s, you got a truck here.
They had a truck then at that time to haul from there. I made 1 or 2 trips down to Marlow with the old truck.
And the People's Supply Company was more than just a place to buy groceries. It was a social beehive for the Swedish and Czechoslovakian immigrants who helped build Silver Hill.
It was beautiful community here. It used to be older people and the young people came and they stayed together.
And today, on its 80th birthday, the People's Supply Company is still a place where you can get together with your neighbor and pick up just about anything you need for the house or your car. Of course, the price of gasoline's gone up just a bit. In Silver Hill, John Robb, News 10.
I think you could have stolen the line from Jerry Reed's song, when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not.
You were certainly right, too. I know a team that was not very hot tonight,
yes.
Right here in Mobile. South Alabama drops 2 in a row to South Florida. We got some highlights of that. Plus a big day in the major leagues and a big day locally on water and on land. We'll tell you about that when we get back.
Soybean growers, these broadleaf pre-emergence herbicides cost you money, and you'll probably need a post-emergence herbicide anyway. So this year, cut out broadleaf pre-emergence. Save money with the one herbicide that knocks out more broadleaves in soybeans than any other. Blazer Post-Emergence Herbicide. If your weed spectrum matches Blazer's, just put down your grass herbicide, then hit your broadleaves early with Blazer. It's the champ.
The tin is gone, but American Carpet Sales, we still have a circus of great savings on carpet and vinyl. For instance, Biscayne Vinyl has authorized us to telecast the only vinyl with a 3-year guarantee. The latest styles and colors, all no wax, priced now at up to half price. Biscayne Vinyl, the new vinyl that's guaranteed to stay that way. Stop by American Carpets for Biscayne Vinyl and over 500 rolls of carpet at up to half price. American Carpet Sales on Airport Boulevard.
Quite a few runs scored out at South Alabama tonight.
That's right, exactly. Lots of runs. A total of 10 runs were scored in 2 games at Stankyville tonight. Unfortunately, the Jags didn't get any of them as they were beaten 5-0 in 2 straight by South Florida. With the victory, South Florida would appear to be the host school of the Sun Belt Conference tournament. The story is pretty much as it looks. Everything went right for the Bulls, nothing for the Jags. Here, right fielder Brad Cox got an easy base off of the steal in Game 2. Next up, catcher John Cook nails one to center field, scoring the little fella just stole from second base. South Florida took a 2-0 lead in Game 2. They eventually had 3 more for another shutout. The Jags stand 23-11 with a losing streak now of 4 games. The 2 play a single game tomorrow. In the major leagues, Pensacola's Kevin Soche, who happens to be rated 3rd best among relief pitchers by Sports Illustrated, picked up his 2nd save of the young season today as he helped his Detroit Tigers hold off the Yankees 5-3. The Tigers led 4-0 in the 3rd when John Walkenfuss laid down this perfect bunt that loaded the bases. As you can see, nobody can get to it. Tom Brookins then hit into a double play, but it was enough to get Kirk Gibson home as the Tigers led at 5-0. The Yankees' comeback started and stopped in the 6th with the score 5-1. Bobby Mercer let loose with this Jack Morris pitch. It lands in Dingerland out in the seats in right field. Mumphrey got a free ride home with it to make it 5-3 Detroit. First pitch, Kevin Soche comes in to do the job. He grabs a Ken Griffey hot shot, turns it into a double play. The Tigers held on to beat the Yankees 5-3. Soche took time after the win for his traditional celebration there. He had 13 saves last year, only needs 11 more this year to catch last season. In the American League on the scoreboard, Kansas City 12-10 over Cleveland in a shootout. Mobile's Amos Otis 5 RBIs for the Royals, and that score is reversed. It should be Kansas City on the winning end there. The Red Sox knock off the Blue Jays by a run. Texas over Milwaukee 5-3. Baltimore, the loser in the first game of a doubleheader with the White Sox 3-1. The White Sox now 6-0. They're on a hot streak too. California leading Minnesota 1-0 after 2. Oakland 1-0 over Seattle in the first inning. In the National League, the Braves, well, you just don't know. They're 2-1 in the 7th inning. Braves on top. Who knows, man? It might tie it up here, the 10 wins in a row. One more and they tie Oakland with 11. That's the best ever. The Mets by 1 over the Expos. Chicago 10-2 over Pittsburgh. Philadelphia shut out by 6 by the Cardinals. Cardinals on top of the National League East. Cincinnati 8-2 over San Francisco. And the Padres lead the Dodgers 3-1 after 2 innings. And the annual Dauphin Island Sailboat Regatta took place on the Mobile Bay this afternoon. 2 divisions totaling 278 boats took place in the race from the Bay to Dauphin Island. The larger Division I boats had the longer haul down to the island with a return late this afternoon. The smaller boats took a smaller course. Officials have failed to pass along the larger results, but in the smaller divisions, such as the boats you see here, Ellis Ollinger had the fastest flying Scott boat. These particular boats are of the Prendle class, Ned tells me. The winner in the 16-foot was Art Thigpen. The winner in the 18-foot class is Frank Reddick. Art Jeffcoat had the fastest Hobie 16, and Rich Thompson the fastest 18-footer. The 1982 race marked the last time the race would be held without a bridge to link Mobile with Dauphin Island. And over 300 runners rolled out of bed at 8 o'clock this morning for the 2nd annual Water World March of Dimes 5-mile race at the Water World. Here's the start of the race under the overcast skies as the runners left the starting line heading for the 5-mile run through the peaceful Baldwin County countryside. As is the case with most of the races, runners stayed bunched up through the first mile of the trip. As they reached the 3-mile over halfway point across I-10, it began to thin out a little bit, as you can see. Over the last leg, it was obvious who the winner would be. As a matter of fact, Larry Wayne had time for a quick shower there. At the finish line, it was Larry Wayne of Fairhope taking first place with a time of 28 minutes 50 seconds. Second place finisher John Hogan was also of Fairhope. He had a time of 27 minutes 10 seconds. Mobile's Race Gentry finished third with a time of 28 minutes 40 seconds. And the younger women seem to have all the steam today. 13-year-old Michelle Lambert, that's her of Pensacola, finished first among the females with a time of 35 minutes 56 seconds. Mobile's Julie Gonzalez was next at 36:11. Plus, she's only 12 years old. The real winner in the race was March of Dimes, who will receive over $1,200 from the racers today. The race is also catching on as the 300 participants today is double that of last year's race. And coming up, this is action of the high school Southeastern Relays held at South Alabama this afternoon. Final results in girls action. Murphy's girls, led by a double victory in the shot put and discus by Stacy Shaw, left the pack with a 74 score. Viger was second with 42, Williamson third with 38. UMS won the smaller men's class, and Davidson the larger class. For Davidson, Mike Stadler pole vaulted 15 feet 1 1/4 inches. Murphy, led by Joe Smith's amazing hurdling act, finished second with 67 points. And Blunt, who finished first in the race you just saw, which was the 400-meter relay, finished third in a tie with Viger. And Lanny Watkins leads the Tournament of Champions golf tournament tonight after his 4-under par 68 in California earlier today. Lanny 6 on the back 9. Lowered his total score to 207. 2 shots off the pace comes Tom Watson, who turned in an even par 72 to stand at 209. Ron Streck is third at 210. Tom Kite fourth at 211. And it's time now for the Vidifont for the red and white game in Alabama today. The white team won it 17-0. They did it on the ground, 223 yards with 2 touchdowns. The scoring: Peter Kim, a 19-yard field goal. Jeff Fagan, a 2-yard touchdown run, and Joe Carter, a 7-yard touchdown run to add up to 17 points. A little more passing this year. The red team completed 6 of 20, the white 9 of 18. So, I don't know if Bear Bryant would be too happy seeing that fat 0 on the scoreboard up there.
I know it. And real briefly, next Saturday night we begin a new special here on TV10.
Fishing series, Out on the Gulf.
Okay.
Deep sea fishing.
Great. And a special reunion when the news continues.
When you're working on your American dream, you want it to last forever.
Andersen Windows have helped build American dreams for over 75 years with innovation, energy efficiency, and pride.
We take the time to build the best, that's what we've always been. Come home to quality, come home to Andersen.
Available at these dealers.
The most outrageous show ever is coming to TV10. Direct from England, it's The Benny Hill Show. Benny Hill has the kind of humor and fun you've never before seen on TV. The Benny Hill Show starts Sunday, April 18th at 10:30 p.m. What a great way to start your week, only on TV10.
There's several things you can count on happening every year in Mobile. Things like Mardi Gras, the Azalea Trail Run, and the Senior Bowl. Also each year, crew members of the USS Alabama get together for a reunion. And as Michelle Meredith reports, this year's reunion was special. Today marks the anniversary of the Battleship Commission.
They've been meeting like this since 1967. They meet on the battleship that they lived, worked, and fought a war together on.
One more time, last one.
For the 185 World War II crewmates, today's reunion was a time for taking pictures. It was also a time for reminiscing, and they did a lot of reminiscing. They had a memory for every spot, a spot for every memory.
There was a line of us across there. While the man turned the water on it, we just kept moving back and forth like this.
Steve Halkovich and me were standing there, and when he fired that machine gun, it went right over our heads over about 3 rounds.
When you was firing this gun in battle, you just didn't think. You just did what you were trained to do. You did it so many times, you did it automatically. And you just didn't think much. You were scared to death.
Today also marks the 40th anniversary of the ship's commission into service. Today they celebrated with the unveiling of a $16,000 bronze plaque that traces the ship's history and travel. But travel these men did. Some served on the USS Alabama for years at a time. They tell us they never lacked the necessities of life, all but one.
We're busy enough all the time. The Navy used to make us busy years ago where we never could get in trouble, where we could never have time to complain that we were away from home.
But you didn't have any women?
No, sirree, not a darn one.
Michelle Meredith, News 10.
That's the news for now. See you again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
So dear, come on, baby, I'll buy you a beer. Bull. If you wanna get your message through loud and clear, the Bull shows a lot more taste than beer. So bold, so smooth. Yeah, Schlitz malt liquor is in the groove. Don't say beer, say Schlitz malt liquor. Bull. No one does it like the